When we hear the word God, many of us think of power, authority, or someone to be worshipped. The world often distorts the concept of God, equating it with dominance, control, or superiority. But this understanding is a misunderstanding of the true biblical meaning of God. Being a God, as intended in the scriptures, is not about seeking worship or ruling over others. It's not about placing yourself above others or demanding recognition. Instead, the biblical concept of being a God is about fulfilling a divine purpose, living in alignment with God's nature, walking in love, justice, and humility. It's about serving others, not dominating them. Jesus' life is the ultimate example of what it means to operate as a God, humbly fulfilling his purpose on earth without seeking glory for himself. This brings us to John 10, where the religious leaders were furious at Jesus for saying, "I and the Father are one." To them, this was blasphemy, a direct claim of equality with God. They picked up stones to kill him, but Jesus responded by quoting Psalm 82:6, "Is it not written in your law, I said ye are gods?" To understand this, we need to delve into the original Hebrew language and the scriptures. The term Elohiym in Hebrew is the plural form of Eloah, which translates to God, but it can also mean rulers, judges, or divine ones. In Psalm 82, it refers to human judges who were appointed to represent God's justice on earth. Jesus was reminding the leaders that their own laws acknowledged this divine potential within humanity. Now, let's explore the difference between the creator and a creator. The creator is the source of all existence, the stars, mountains, animals, and all living things. This creation was not a product of chance, but of divine intention. Meanwhile, a creator refers to humanity, made in God's image. In Genesis 1:26-28, God declared, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion." God handed dominion over creation to humanity, his Elohiym on earth. We were called to rule, cultivate, and nurture the earth, not out of dominance, but as co-creators under God's authority. But being a God is not about commanding others or seeking worship. It's about unlocking the power within us to align with our divine purpose. This power is not just physical, it's spiritual, deeply connected to the divine spirit that resides in us. Jesus exemplified this kind of power. He healed the sick, performed miracles, and spoke truth, all to fulfill God's purpose. This inner power is something that must be unlocked to operate more fully as a God. It involves discovering and developing the spiritual gifts that God has placed within each of us. These gifts can include non-physical abilities, like wisdom, spiritual discernment, prophecy, or even healing. But these abilities don't simply manifest on their own. They require us to continually seek the kingdom within, the inner realm of God's Spirit dwelling inside us. Romans 8 reinforces this truth. But if the Spirit of Him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, He that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by His Spirit that dwelleth in you. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is available to us, quickening us and empowering us to fulfill God's purpose on earth. However, accessing this power requires intentional seeking, aligning our hearts and minds with God's kingdom. Jesus taught that the kingdom of God is within us, emphasizing that our greatest potential lies inside, waiting to be unlocked. The religious leaders rejected Jesus' message because they couldn't accept the divine potential He revealed, both in Himself and in them. They were bound by tradition and law, unable to recognize the deeper truth that Jesus was proclaiming. But His message was clear. We are called to be creators, vessels of God's Spirit, and reflectors of His nature. This calling is not just about external power, but about spiritual transformation. It's about discovering the divine potential within, nurturing it, and allowing it to guide our purpose on earth. As we align with the kingdom within us, we become more attuned to God's will, capable of fulfilling His plan in ways beyond mere human capability. Being a God is not about self-elevation. It's about fulfilling a divine mission with humility, love, and the power of God's Spirit within us. Jesus came not to elevate Himself, but to restore humanity's divine purpose and invite us to walk in the Spirit just as He did. The question for us is this: will we accept this divine calling? Will we seek to unlock the potential within us, aligning with God's purpose and walking in His Spirit? The answer determines whether we will truly operate as God's Elohiym on earth, fulfilling our role as co-creators under His authority.